They are still fighting. No, I know we're talking about the fighting Dan Campbell's. Maybe we'll talk about the fighting Michael McCarthy's. The Cowboys beat a hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and Sunday Night Football 26-24 at AT&T Stadium. And let me just give credit where credit is due. Earlier that day on Sunday, after the Washington Football Commanders defeated the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cowboys were eliminated, mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Don't worry. Don't worry. We will be packing them up. I mean, they packed themselves up. But I'm going to put the tape on the box and pack. Not today. Don't have my props today. But don't worry. Your precious Cowboys will be packed up. But they learned earlier in that day that they were mathematically eliminated from playoff contentions. Jerry Jones spoke after the game and he said, when we found out about this, I went into the office of Mike McCarthy, and the look on our face and then the feeling in the room felt like we had lost somebody, like death. And I thought, and if you're being honest, many of you thought once that news came down that they were not only going to lose the game, but it was going to be bad. I got nothing else to play for. Why should we go out here and play hard? Tampa's on a heater right now. They're probably going to come into this house where the Cowboys haven't won but one other game at home this season and really cook up something. But the Cowboys players said, screw you. Screw you, Jesse. Screw you, people. Screw you who thought that we were going to lay down and die. And now they're playing the Grinch Who Stole Christmas to a lot of other football teams. And they go out there and they handle the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Initially, this game was led by Cooper Rush, who I thought between Cooper Rush and the way that Michael from Pittsburgh put a game plan together, Cooper Rush looked in control, looked confident. Maybe he was playing with the I don't give a damn, the YOLO. We got nothing to lose. We got nothing to play for. I'm just going to go out here and let this thing fly. And boy, did he. To the tune of 200 and about 30 yards in the first half. And CD, with that bum shoulder and all, was straight dog. Was a dog. Had 100 yards at half, and everything was clicking for the Cowboys in that first half. I thought the game plan was exquisite. The way they got the ball out early, they got the ball out quick. You knew that Todd Bowles was going to try to play some zone behind it and try to bring some guys up front. Now, I won't poo-poo on the parade, but we'll come back to this at a later date. I told you guys I wanted to see what this offensive line would be against competition equal to or greater than them. And if Rico Dowdle, if you could be a good running back with competition equal to or greater than you, and boy, did you disappoint. But I won't get on the Rico train because what did he have? I got the stats right here. I got the play-by-play. Let me look at here on a second here. Yeah. Rico had 13 carries for 23 yards, 1.8 yards per carry. His longest run was 6 yards. So it didn't look good when you got against good time. That's another conversation for another day. But the fight in this Cowboys team was very commendable, was very, very applaudable. And you saw a level of competing that honestly, against a good team, I ain't really seen all year. I mean, you had plays by guys like Donovan Wilson hitting, Maris Luafau hitting, Jordan Lewis, of course, he's been doing that all year long. Deron Bland was playing well up in the face of Mike Evans, press bumping, running him all day long. And that was a good matchup to see those two guys go at it. And the Cowboys came out of this game victorious. Quiet as it's kept. And Mike Tirico said this in the broadcast, and I thought it was brilliant. Brandon Aubrey was a machine. Brandon Aubrey had 1, 2, 3, 4 field goals in this game. He had a field goal of 58. He had a field goal of 49, another one at 58, another one at 53. And Mike Tirico said, kicking the ball from 50 yards for Brandon Aubrey is like a free throw. I thought that was so well put. It does feel like a free throw from 50-plus yards. He broke a record, the most 50-plus yard field goals in one season. He has 14. And you think about it, it's one of those unsung hero type things because there's so many other storylines in the game that you miss the fact that if he misses, he has 2 58-yarders. 2. If he misses either one of them, you lose by 1. When you think about it, he had a 49-yarder. He had 4, basically, let's round up. He had 4 50-yard field goals. He had 2 from 58. I think that's not talked about enough. And how he showed up in those moments. Another guy for the Cowboys that had to go in the offseason and get paid. I think when we talk about priority, special teams aren't talked about until special teams don't give you what you need. I thought Brandon Aubrey was timely, and he always kept them at bay. He kept the scoring drives, and he kept Tampa Bay at bay throughout the course of the game. But when you talk about 4 field goals, 12 points by himself from Brandon Aubrey, I think that was one of the unsung heroes of this football game. You saw guys step up. Nick Vigil, who barely practices because of the foot injury, step in, be a green dot guy. I thought the communication, not having Eric Kendricks in there due to injury, he did not suit up this game, that they would have some issues, some problems. They kind of corralled what was a really good running attack between Bucky Irvin and Rashad White. Bucky was 16 for 68. Rashad was 3 for 10. Now Baker did have 42 yards, but Baker has the ability to be mobile. He scrambles when the pocket breaks down. But I thought Mike Zimmer really put together a good scheme and mixing things up against that Liam Cohen offense. But the thing that comes down to this whole thing is they fought. They fought, man. And I didn't think that they would. And that's a testament to 2 things. The men on this team who believe in no matter what, go out here and play hard. There's a lot of guys, and I there's a part of me, and I don't know if this is cynical me or a guy who's just been in the locker room and seen a lot of this happen before. There's a lot of guys on this football team, and the names that I'm naming, who are still fighting for jobs and contracts. Jordan Lewis wants a new contract. I don't think he has the room to not play hard. Not that he would, but I don't think he has the room to do so. Deron Bland is a guy who's looking for a contract. Coming off a major foot injury, missed 10 games this year. Got to play hard. Guys like Nick Vigil, he's going to be looking for a team next year. Guys across that Cowboys offensive line. Brandon Aubrey, Kavontae Turpin. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on about guys who will be looking for contracts. And the guys who aren't looking for contracts, I'm now looking for 2 things. And this is pride aside, right? We're going to say pride is put aside because they play for pride. They play for the names on the back of their jersey. But 1 or 2 things are going to happen. Either the Cowboys are going to retain Michael McCarthy, Michael from Pittsburgh, and what you don't want to do is to look at a coach who's been retained and he looks back at you and say, in the moment where I was trying to save my job, I watched you week in and week out quit on me. Because that's going to be hard when you're trying to get a job next season and he's checking his list. He's looking at his list and he's checking it twice and he's trying to find out who was naughty and who was nice. That eye in the sky don't lie when he goes, wait, this was a guy right here. Oh, you want to come back? Oh, you're looking to... No, I watched you give up on me. Or when the new coach comes into town and now he's evaluating the talent that's on the roster and he goes, wow, these guys gave up on the coach. I remember Marvin Lewis told me this my rookie year in Cincinnati. And he said, I'm reluctant to bring in players that got their coaches fired. He said, because if you got your other coach fired, what the hell does it mean you're going to get me fired too? And if the coach got fired and the new guy comes in and he's like, you ain't play hard when your coach's job was on the line? Not a guy I want in the foxhole with me. So there's a couple, there's a bunch of that mixed into this thing, but nonetheless, you know, the words that Michael Parsons uttered a couple of weeks ago, they are starting to they're starting to grow in good favor. They're starting to look good. And when the new coach comes in, those guys who are looking at that, coach going to go, I saw the film, and when the coach's job was on the line, you laid down. Not a guy that I probably want on my team trying to start my new career with those guys. But again, shout out to those guys, man, because they played extremely hard. They played extremely well, and they got the victory. CeeDee Lamb, another record. He moved into, I think, 4th or 5th all-time in the most receiving yards in the first 4 years of career. He just passed Jerry Rice. He becomes only the second Cowboy receiver to go 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career with the team. He'll end this year with 1,000 plus yards and over 100 receptions. And I think CeeDee was one of the guys who had a label on him. A lot of people thought that CeeDee was a diva, you know, because he had his moments where he was kind of like, give me the damn ball. And that's maybe a wide receiver thing, but people felt some kind of way about that. And that CeeDee might have not always been for the team. I think over the last couple of weeks, what you see him dealing with that shoulder injury and him gutting it through and fighting it through, when basically there hasn't been anything on the line for a while. And for him to go out and to perform again, now I know he didn't play much. I think he played 2 or 3 snaps in the second half of that game, but did 100 yards in the first half of that game. And I don't know what the next 2 weeks will bring for CeeDee Lamb, but I think he's earned a lot of favor in the eyes of the fan base. I think he's earned a lot of favor in the eyes of the front office, and maybe even favor in the guys in his locker room. And that's big, because when you're trying to build a culture, when you're trying to get out of that we're a for self and diva type mentality, it's tough to when you're the lower tier guys, or you're just, you know, an average guy or a really good guy or below that, and now you want to lollygag around and not play with a little bit of injury, a little bit of hurt. Tyler Guyton, when you're not playing through things, a coach and a player in the locker room, CeeDee can go, hold on, dog. Hold on, dog. Hold on, player. Hold on, player. Now you telling me that because you a little bit nicked up that you not playing? You can't go? When I was out here giving us a shot when we had nothing going on, and I'm out here playing with this? Nah, playboy. Get in that training room. Get your rehab on. Do what you got to do, because we need you on Sunday. This is the part about being professional. Are you injured or are you hurt? A lot of guys are hurting. But there's a very big difference between hurting and injured. And I thought him playing the way that he's played through that shoulder has set precedents for the other guys in that locker room. When you look up and one of the top 2 or 3 players on your team, the star, the big contract guy, who if CeeDee Lamb decided a couple weeks ago, man, AC joint, I'm out. I'm out. I don't think nobody would have blamed him. I wouldn't have blamed him. I wouldn't have called him soft. I wouldn't have called him. I'd have been like, cool, AC joint, go get that thing fixed up, get ready for 2025. But for him to keep thugging it out, and you can see it. I mean, he made the big play down the field, and he falls on the shoulder, and he's hurting. You see Dr. Cooper and Jim Maurer, and they're over there like under the shoulder pads trying to figure out what's going on with that shoulder. And he's just grinding it out. That to me is how you set culture. When your best players are willing to do the things like that. That's how you set culture. That's how CeeDee gets to have a voice in certain matters when he looks up and he goes, "Now you can't tell me about being banged up. Go turn on the film." And not only was I banged up, I was still out there balling with the backup quarterback. He wouldn't have been wrong to shut it down. Backup quarterback who throws the ball all over the place, gonna get me killed half the time. He would have been rightfully justified to shut it down, but he didn't. Jordan Lewis, guys like that who play hard all the time. What a great interception by Jordan Lewis. I mean, there were countless numbers of things of guys and players on this team who showed up and showed out in a way that was very, very, very admirable. And shout out to those guys. They have a big test coming up this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles are still playing for something. They're trying to fully secure that number one spot, get that bye week. But the Cowboys have decided, hey, since we're eliminated, our job is to do nothing but to ruffle and to destroy people's futures. Change their outcome, make them have a lesser seed or whatever it is. That's the Cowboys method. They have turned into the Grinch that stole Christmas and the New Year and the next couple games between the Eagles and then the Washington Commanders. Cowboys are trying to be spoilers. And you know what? I look forward to seeing it. They've made this game entertaining, even though they have nothing to play for. So I'll keep watching because they gave me a reason to watch last week. So shout out to those guys. And I'll talk more about coaching. We got that coming up in another segment. But I'll talk more about coaching and what this probably means, in my eyes, to the coaching search or rehire of the Dallas Cowboys.